Oh, okay, let's move back then to Israel and Iran. You're headed over for further negotiations. While you're gone, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be addressing Congress. Susan Rice said it was destructive to U.S.-Israeli relations. Do you agree with that?
Well, look, we're not. The Prime Minister of Israel is welcome to speak in the United States, obviously, and we have a closer relationship with Israel right now in terms of security than at any time in history. I was reviewing the record the other day. We have intervened on Israel's behalf in the last 2 years more than a couple of hundred times in over 75 different fora in order to protect Israel. I talk to the Prime Minister regularly, including yesterday. We are not, we don't want to see this turned into some great political football. Obviously, it was odd, if not unique, that we learned of it from the Speaker of the House and that an administration was not included in this process. But the administration is not seeking to politicize this. We want to recognize the main goal here is to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. And on that, Israel and the United States agree. And the testimony, in fact, to the efficiency with which we've been able to pursue that is the interim agreement that is in place today. Israel is safer today because of the interim agreement that we created. The 20% enriched uranium has been reduced to 0. We have stopped the centrifuge production. We are inspecting inside of their facilities. We have stopped the Iraq plutonium reactor in its tracks. Israel is safer today, and that is the standard that we will apply to any agreement going forward. It is to guarantee that we will know that Iran cannot develop a nuclear weapon under the procedure that we're putting in place.
Secretary Kerry, one of Iran's vice presidents said today that Netanyahu's speech actually serves Iran's interest. I was recently in Iran, and there were a lot of people who wanted this agreement. Does Netanyahu's action actually help Iran?
You know, I'm just not going to play the game of walking into a debate about Iranian propaganda with respect to this visit. As I said, the Prime Minister is welcome in the United States at any time. We have an unparalleled close security relationship with Israel, and we will continue to. President Obama has done more to ensure the security of Israel by the creation of Iron Dome, by the development of weapons that are specifically calculated to be able to deal with Iran's nuclear weapon problem, and the President has pledged that they will not get a nuclear weapon. Now, I guarantee you, we have said again and again, no deal is better than a deal. We're not going to make a bad deal. But remember, Martha, there were many people who opposed the interim agreement and said that was terrible. The fact is the interim agreement has been adhered to. It has been inspected. We have proven that we have slowed Iran's, even set back its nuclear program. And we are going to continue now to the next step to see. I can't promise you we can, but we are going to test whether or not diplomacy can prevent this weapon from being created so you don't have to turn to additional measures, including the possibility of a military confrontation. Our hope is diplomacy can work. And I believe, given our success on the interim agreement, I believe we deserve the benefit of the doubt to find out whether or not we can get a similarly good agreement with respect to the future. It is better to do this by diplomacy than to have to do a strategy militarily, which you would have to repeat over and over again, and which I think everybody believes ought to be after you have exhausted all the diplomatic remedies.
Secretary Kerry, just a final question, and very quickly, if you will. I want to turn to Russia and the murder of one of Putin's most outspoken critics. Do you have any intelligence, does the U.S. have any intelligence or suspicions who may be responsible for that murder?
No, we have none, and we wouldn't comment anyway, Martha, but we don't have any. And the bottom line is that we hope there will be a thorough, transparent, real investigation. Not just of who actually fired the shots, but who, if anyone, may have ordered or instructed this or been behind this. 4 men jumping out of a car. I think it was 4 in the middle of Moscow in daylight is not sort of a common affair. And so our hearts go out to the Russian people. This was a man who was deeply committed to a better relationship with the world. As Deputy Prime Minister, he worked hard to improve the relationship with the United States. He was known as an activist, as engaged and engaging. And we are enormously saddened to hear of his murder, and we hope the authorities will join the world in producing the credible, transparent investigation necessary to find out who was behind this and who did it.
Thanks very much for joining us, Mr.
Thank
Secretary,
you.
and have a good trip.
Thank you so much. Good to be with you.
And now let's bring in